back in the studio. My name is Walter Allen. Free Indeed podcast. Let's talk. And we're here with Jermain Clayton. Did I say it right?
You said it right.
All right. Happy to have you. And it's great. You're going to talk about the Buffalo Soldiers, the history.
That is correct.
And we, first of all, thank you so much for taking time out to educate us. And how did we become acquainted with each other?
Well, we've had some conversations through some mutual friendships and families, and we had an opportunity to kind of, dialogue and break bread. And, during those conversations, it just felt fitting to dig a little deeper and to explore how we can move forward, some different discussions, different conversations, engage different people on different levels. So that's how we got here.
And I do want to add that Free Indeed does not own the copyrights to the background music. And the history of the Buffalo Soldiers, what we know about the history and where we was then, where we are now, and the future. And of course, my wife, she want to talk to you also after this first episode. How would you describe what you do and why you do?
Well, how do you describe feeling driven on a spiritual level to give something back to the community? It doesn't take a whole lot of effort when it comes to that level of thinking. So I'd have to work really hard at movement in the right direction after I kind of stumbled upon this group. It just kind of felt right. My heart was already looking for something. And when your heart's looking for something and you find that something, the passion comes from that. And that's how I ended up being part of this organization. Our opportunity is to enlighten the general public about the rich history and the legacy of the 9th and 10th Cavalry Buffalo Soldiers. There are many who did a lot of things historically during war and times of peace, but this one in particular spoke to my spirit because when you have a person that has nothing, but they want something, there's a journey in that. And most men who have an idea of what they want to be and what they need in their lives to feel fulfilled, they're going to find out where that comes from. So with the 9th and 10th Cavalry Buffalo Soldiers, they were given that opportunity when those opportunities wasn't readily available to them. So that's where the legacy of the 9th and 10th Cavalry Buffalo Soldier really just spoke to my spirit.
The way that the history explains it, if you can talk on that a little bit, how was it connected with the Union Army? Was it added during the Reconstruction period?
Okay, so there's a lot to that, and there's thousands of pages to read. So I'll kind of give a quick summary of how it materialized. So in 1861, the Civil War was initiated. 1861. So, when you think about that, it's like, man, what really happened to initiate a war between people in its own country? And you can read more details about that, but the one thing I want to speak on specifically is the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863. So you were already in conflict for 2 years prior to the Emancipation Proclamation. After that Emancipation Proclamation was signed, now you have a surge of, I like this law, I don't like this law. And you have both sides still split. And in that separation, more conflict ensued. It may have not been military level, but it was definitely a legal level, and creating things within the Emancipation Proclamation that kept people even more indentured than what they were previous to that. So after that was signed, there was a certain amount of rights that certain people were privy to after the signing of that. But the challenge is, if you tell me that I have these new rights, but then the entire world doesn't know, those aren't really rights.
Interesting.
They're not really rights. It was a discussion. So now having those things written and then having a platform which they play out on are two different things. So the platform was never available.
Kind of like what they say versus what they do.
Yes. So now we have a number of men who are looking to gain access to, and I'll use this term loosely, the American dream. The American dream came in two ways. One, on paper I have freedom, but now I have an opportunity to exercise my warrior nature into doing something that's meaningful and creates opportunity for myself and for my family. There's the other part of that. So we look at how these men had an opportunity to join the military. It came from, one, the signage of the Emancipation Proclamation, and now we have to rebuild the country. And now we have a resurgence of men. We have a lot of men that are looking for work.
Right.
So you have a lot of men looking for work. Well, we got to find something, because if we're going to stand behind what we just put on paper, we have to provide some kind of opportunity for these men to take a look at that journey and partake in it. So when you think about that, the word slave is something that someone says to you, but that may not be the word that you describe yourself with.
Very good.
So if you describe yourself as a warrior at spirit, a good man, a spiritual man, a good father, good brother, good cousin, good nephew, good worker, it doesn't matter what title you try to give me, I don't own that title. So it's like, well, how do these men have this passion? Like, no, these men always had passion. Now there's an opportunity where I can play that passion out, and I can see how far I can take it.
That's good.
So now you have this resurgence of men that says, okay, do I go back to what I came from, which was not much, or do I take it upon myself to go explore and travel and see what's out there, being part of the military?
So identity and how you see yourself, and how you see yourself and how you want to see yourself. You look in the mirror, and the scriptures talk about how people see themselves in the mirror and walk away and forget what they look like. But you want to be able to say, hey, this is my identity, and this is how I see myself, and this is how I want to walk it out.
Correct. And you try to create a body of work that supports that. Often we walk a path, but then after we've walked that path, now we can look back and say, did I put enough body of work in to be the person I saw in the mirror? So one part of it is this, what I see in real time. The other part of it is a reflection when I look back at it and say, did I put enough work in based on what I thought I saw in the mirror? And now that I reflect upon that, did I put enough work in to acquire those things? And that's an important thought process right there. Because if I look at myself in the mirror and I see one thing, and I'm not doing anything productive, anything positive, anything that supports my goals, then I'm just looking at myself in the mirror. And I can walk away from that mirror, but if I look back reflectively after looking in the mirror and say, man, this is what I thought about, this is what I've done, these are the people I've encouraged, these are the people I've helped, I was at this point, now I'm at this point, I planted this seed, now it's growing, I planted this tree, now it's growing. travel these distances. Now you can sit back and say, okay, now my behavior supports what I thought I saw in the mirror.
We have got to continue this talk. And with our next, we're going to let you take a break. And of course, my wife, she want to talk to you. And maybe it's something that I missed, but she's my backup.
Okay.
Thank you so much once again.
You're welcome.
Looking forward to working with you. We're in the podcast. Let's talk. And Curtis Mayfield, we both know about the Curtis Mayfield.
I am familiar with Curtis Mayfield.
Classic.
Classics.
Welcome back to Free Indeed. Let's talk. We're in the studio again with Jermain Clayton of Buffalo Soldiers, and we want to talk to him. We've got some history of the Buffalo Soldiers, but I want to ask him just a few more questions about the history, because a lot of people that are viewing, they don't know anything about Buffalo Soldiers. So in your own words, can you say how it was started with the military and the Civil War? These were all black men, correct?
Yes. So let me kind of give a backdrop to that.
Okay.
So now, the Buffalo Soldiers was a nickname that was given to them.
Okay.
As I mentioned before, you give a person the title of slave, but that doesn't mean he owns that.
Gotcha.
So once these men joined the military, they were given a very specific task that no other person wanted to take on.
Okay, something hard.
Well, when you look at hard or something that really has no end,
Gotcha.
makes it challenging as well.
Gotcha.
So when you have a role to expand the West, that is your role, to expand the West.
That was their assignment?
That was their assignment, to expand the West.
Okay.
But they weren't called the Buffalo Soldiers yet. So I'm going to take you on a quick journey.
Okay, come on with it.
So now you have these men that were given a mediocre role of expanding the West, protecting livestock, paving the way for other people, protecting explorers, paving the way for people to build roads, and scouting the area so that it can be traveled with less difficulty by other military groups.
Was this during the war or before the war? After?
This was after.
After.
This was after. So now, these men have been given that role to assist with expanding the West and to protect explorers, protect settlers, and protect livestock. So for a person in the military, that may not be the type of job they signed up for, but that was the only job that they could get, which means I've got to do that job with pride. I've got to do that job with character. I've got to do that job with dignity. So when you think about that, how do you make exploring the West seem like it's the best job in the world? And that's where the camaraderie comes in, because if you weren't given opportunities previous to this, now you have one. So now that's where these men bonded together with that mission. So let me just explain this part to you as well. They had the lowest defection rate, the lowest rate of court-martial, which simply means that...
I want you to lean a little bit more into the mic.
That simply means that even though I didn't have the best equipment or the best job, I stayed and I worked with my brothers, and the mission is what kept them together. In addition to that, when you are expanding any territory, people may not understand what you're trying to expand and why you are trying to expand it. But that was the role they were given.
How many was it?
It was several thousand men who were freed during the Emancipation Proclamation process. There were hundreds of thousands of men who had opportunity. Okay, so when you think about that, you don't have that many men at one time as a sergeant. What you have are several groups, one being the 9th Cavalry, one being the 10th Cavalry, one being the 24th and the 25th Infantry. So when you have men on horseback, that's your cavalry units, and you have your foot soldiers, which are your infantry. So you have two types of people that's expanding this land. But as history would noted, there were people who inhabited that land prior to this expansion. So with the expansion, you have the Plains Indians and a few other groups. Now, here comes this group of freed men with the job of expanding the West. Not to get involved in skirmishes, but to just simply expand the West.
That was kind of like an organizational job.
Correct.
Before it's time.
Before it's time to expand.
That is awesome. And your explanation of that will clear a lot of people's hearts and minds to the task and the role that black men played during that era.
Correct.
That's educational.
So picture this. What's more motivating? Someone that's protecting something or someone with nowhere to go back to?
Wow.
So that would be the question I ask myself. Is like, if I had nowhere to go back to, that would be a strong motivator to push forward, to see what's beyond this obstacle.
And as a people, still we rise.
We're motivated because we're still trying to expand. Not necessarily in the same way the 9th and 10th Cavalry or the 24th and 25th Infantry expanded. We have more resources, which is the importance of maintaining the conversation about that legacy. So when you look at expansion, the expansion doesn't stop because you're tired. The expansion is continuous.
So fast forward now to this present day. Who started Buffalo Soldiers? This is a motorcycle organization, correct?
That's correct. So I'll give you a quick backdrop on that.
Okay.
Dreammaker from Chicago founded this organization in 1993 with the hopes of changing our narrative as African American men who are in the motorcycling lifestyle. So with that being said,
Because it's kind of looked at before as gangsters, right?
it can be looked at as your own experiences. When people see a guy with a motorcycle, they can kind of conjure up a lot of different thought processes.
Yes.
But it was put together to give African American males who were in the law enforcement career, the military career, an opportunity to ride motorcycles, to fellowship, and to give something back to the community.
Awesome.
So that was the foundation of it, and that was in 1993.
1993.
1993. Okay, so there are roughly 109 chapters.
All over America.
States, all over America. There's a chapter in Germany, and there's one in Hawaii. With roughly 3,000 members.
Wow.
So that's
And
all I started.
so what is your part in it? You're a chapter in Cleveland, correct?
I am the vice president of the National Association of Buffalo Soldiers and Troopers Motorcycle Club, the Cleveland chapter. I am the vice president, and that is my role there. And what we attempt to do is to make sure with every opportunity we can educate the general public about the rich history and legacy of the 9th and 10th Cavalry Buffalo Soldiers.
Awesome.
So
And so we were talking before, and you were telling me some of the things that the chapter does for children.
Yes.
And what are some of those things?
Well, let me just say this. It takes a lot to bring attention to what you're trying to do that's positive.
I
So
know.
it'll be easier.
Trust me, I know.
You know, when you drive up, okay, you can get out, you can make a conversation here and there. But when you ride up on a Harley Davidson with music on, and you look like you might be serious about what you're doing.
Do you think?
Yes. And then you get up that motorcycle and you are the keynote speaker for their presentation, or you are the person that's bringing in supplies.
Okay, so you do what's called a ride.
We do a lot of different rides.
Okay.
A lot of different fundraising opportunities for people to, donate money and to help us serve. The most recent is we did something for school supplies, and it was Miles for School Supplies. So with that Miles for School Supplies, we took donations in, and we did a charitable ride, and with all the funds, we were able to provide fully stocked backpacks for a variety of young people who did not have the resource to purchase their school supplies.
And
that was the most recent.
And listen, people, he's agreed to help some of our young people, the children of the incarcerated. That's our populace of young people that we serve. And hopefully in the future you can do a ride, over. We'll plan something.
We'll plan something, and the opportunity that exists is that, the more the merrier. And I say that seriously, because when you're working in step with someone to give back to the community, that's a very positive and powerful thing. So whenever we have an opportunity to, communicate and connect with one another, and to take a look at what the needs are, and to see how we can be of assistance, that's more than worthy of a conversation, trying to get everybody on the same page.
Amen.
Because it's time for the kids now.
It is time for the kids. And our main goal is to keep young men and women out of that prison system. And this summer we were able to do that on our little farm. We were able to hire 2 16-year-old young men, and their families came along, some of their sisters, and they wanted to learn how to plant stuff, because we're kind of in that age where you need to have your own food.
You do.
So not only are they able to pick up a little change during the summer, where they don't have to be out selling drugs, because they are very vulnerable, 16, 17, drug dealers or whatever want to snatch them up and tell them, give them a backpack and, do a run for us for quick money. But some of these young people are bent on not repeating the same mistake. And so we're happy and we're excited to be able to join forces with Buffalo Soldiers in any way, because our hearts are the same, and we want to, our mission statement seems to be basically the same. So you guys even give out scholarships. Is that true? I was hearing that from my son-in-law.
Oh yeah, that's correct. Every year around April we give out a few scholarships. The requirement for the scholarship is to fill out an application and to write an essay on what the 9th and 10th Cavalry Buffalo Soldiers meant to you. So that's the requirement.
So how many are in your chapter?
Right now we have a total of 12, which includes some retirees and some associate members.
Awesome. And let me ask you this: if people want to get in touch with you to come to their church and speak, or to come to their organization and speak, how would they contact you?
I'll give a website. The website address would be Buffalo Soldiers MC ClevelandOhio.com.
Would you repeat that again?
Buffalo Soldiers MC ClevelandOhio.com.
Okay. Well, people, we've been talking to Jermain Clayton of the Buffalo Soldiers. Tune in and listen to what we have to say. This is Free Indeed. Let's talk. We're going to see you next time, okay? Over and out.
You have been listening to Free Indeed Podcast. Let's talk. Our supporters and sponsors are Dr. Penelope Mashburn and Dr. Jeremy Mashburn. Free Indeed does not own copyrights to the background music.